so much I want to talk to you about. I want to first start with following your dreams, and then we're going to go into business, music business, and a short Q&A. So I wanted to start with following your dreams because in order to even build a business and your brand, you first have to have the courage to even follow your dreams. So when people try to discourage you or say you couldn't do a certain thing, what kept that motivation, that inspiration to just go after it anyway?
Well, I mean, knowing that I come from nothing and just want more out of life for me and my family. So it really wasn't just about me. Growing up in the projects in New Orleans, probably one of the worst places to be at that time, and just saying that I want to do something to get me and my family up out of this. So, I mean, we always lived in poverty. Nobody had anything. No relatives, no older relatives. I come from a place where nobody had nothing. So that was my motivation. Now, some people take it to where it's a negative, like if, oh, I don't have my dad in my life, or I don't have a mom, or whatever. I took it as, you know what, let me go out and do the best that I can do, and I'm gonna change this. I'm gonna change this negative cycle that I'm living in and that I'm going through. So I decided to just work hard. That was my motivation. Like, I ain't giving up until I make it.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, and people don't realize, if you think it, that you're not gonna make it, you're probably not. So I always had in my mind, like, I'm waiting on a check, even though I was broke.
It's about that
But
energy.
I'm not gonna say I'm broke, you know what I'm saying? Because the power of words, people don't realize when you start talking those words, oh man, I'm toe up, then you toe up. I was always saying, like, I'm waiting on something, I'm waiting on this bread, I'm waiting on this paper. And one day I'm gonna change all this. So, and my grandmother played a big important role, having something that you love. So she also scared me to change my life, but she also played a role to make me go out and do what I need to do. So sometimes you might need somebody to give you that tough love when you know you're doing the wrong thing.
What was one of the biggest lessons that your grandmother taught you?
Well, I know I was messing up, and I know I was out there wilding out. My grandmother, she put a black dress over the nightstand. You'll see it in my movie, The King of the South. She was like, I'm gonna wear that to your funeral. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm about to do something with my life. I'm not about to die out here because, you know, at that time, New Orleans was the murder capital of the world. And most of the stuff was happening in the community where I grew up in. So my brother died at 19. Now, my goal was to live to be 19 because I didn't think I could make it that far. It was just like that.
Okay, so one thing you said was, okay, you said even though you're broke, you're still going for it. There's a lot of people when they're going for their dreams, they get frustrated because it's not an overnight success or it doesn't happen in a week or a month. So what do you have to say in regards to one overnight success and being patient?
So you gotta realize nothing happened overnight. So when you look at No Limit, you know, people see we finally made it, but they didn't look at how long it took. So, you know, I used to open up for Tupac. So people don't realize, like, I was the opening act. I'll come there when the light's on. And I kept saying to myself, I had one fan. I had one guy sitting in the audience that was jamming to my music. I said, I'm gonna turn that one fan into a million. And, you know, that's what I did. And sometimes you gotta you don't look at, oh, I ain't where I want to be at, or people not feeling me right now. It could be your clothing line, it could be your music, it could be whatever. You know, sometimes people not gonna feel, like even Body, think about it, I was on a bus with them, with Tupac and them, they didn't know what Body was. They were like, man, hold on, put that pot on. You know, and he was the hottest thing in the world at the time. But I didn't get frustrated by that, I kept believing in what I had. You know, sometimes we go to country towns, I sneak my music on, and while they sleep, they'll wake up and be like, man, what is that? You know, but I start getting it out there. So you gotta wait for your moment. And I got my moment one time, you know, they got into it and they had to leave. And so I stayed in Cincinnati and the promoter asked me, he said, would you be the main act? I'm like, the main act? You gonna give me the money you giving Tupac and them? He was like, I got to, if you the only one. I said, okay, I'm gonna be here.
Know your worth.
And I took advantage of that. Think about it, even though I wasn't ready to be the opening act, but I took advantage of that and I found my moment and I never looked back.
definitely. And one thing I really liked, I did see, you said that there's no limit on your dreams, especially when you have God. So that's something I love.
Well, I know that, you know, a lot of people say it's luck and they think it's them. With all the stuff I've been through in life, I know that it's God. Without him, I wouldn't be here where I'm at right now. And I know a lot of people might don't admit to that, but I've been through a lot of close calls, and I praise the man up above, saying, you spared my life, you gave me a second chance. I'm gonna make the best out of it. You know, I have a brother deceased and I have a brother incarcerated. We all come from the same blood, and people ask me all the time, well, how did you end up doing this and another relative doing that? Sometimes you gotta look at life and know what you want. Even if your relatives don't want it. You know, because some people get addicted, they get addicted to the streets, or they get addicted to the lifestyle. For me, I feel like I always was, when I was out there hustling, I didn't love it. It's like a stripper. A stripper say she loved dancing in the club, so she might can't change. I didn't love being on the streets. I had to be there. And so I just wanted a better way out. So some people get caught up into that. But I always, when I was out there, I always said, I'm gonna get legit. I'm gonna do something positive and change my life. None of us are perfect. So you can look at everybody out there. These are not perfect people, none of us. But we all got an opportunity to do better and better ourselves and better our lives. I did it for my family. You know, I did it because I wanted to be free. I wanted to see my kids. I wanted to watch them grow up. And some people, they don't understand that. They want to be the toughest guys in the world. And, you know, it's a price that comes with that, being the toughest guy in the world. You know, I always thought that, you know, I just want to better myself. So, you know, I live an eye for eye. That's just how it is. I mean, I come from the streets, but I'm like, we can educate ourselves. So think about everybody that's out there, you know, we all look alike, but what's the difference? Somebody might have a suit on, they might have went to a college or whatever. That don't mean they're smarter than us.
That's right.
You know, I proved that. I proved that we don't have to look a certain way to be able to run a business. So you just have to do things the right way. And that's what I learned to do. Is like, you know, as I grew and I started learning more, and when you know better, you do better.
Exactly. Well, and you know, working on bettering yourself every day, what's something about yourself that you look back, you're like, that was something I really needed to work on, and now you did and you became better?
Well, I had to work on just getting frustrated and being angry or upset by anything or what somebody say. So now, as I mature, I'm not gonna let somebody tell me, oh, such and such doing this, we gotta go. Nah, I'm not about to do that. Like, I'm gonna think about what I do, and I'm gonna listen. Most of the time we don't listen, that's how we get caught up. You know, so we just go with what somebody say. Like, you can't just say something to me now, and I'm gonna just run out there and get into that. I'm not, like, I gotta think about, okay, if I do this gonna affect my freedom. If I do that, then I'm not gonna see my kids no more. So now I think different, you know, and I listen. At first I just let somebody say something and then I'm going in. I don't just go in, you know, so being able to process that and listen and do what, make the right choice.
And this is kind of, I mean, with how social media is and it, you know, the bullying and everything, you said when people come to you and say something, what advice do you have for people who really look at the comments without Instagram, everyone who talks?
I mean, think about it. I mean, anybody that's looking at comments, you're wasting your time. Like, you can't stop somebody from saying something. That's what people do. Most of the time, the people that's saying stuff about you, they got nothing but time on their hands, so they gotta be broke. They can't be doing as well as they sell. Cause I wouldn't do that. I couldn't sit around and hate on somebody else. It makes no sense. So you know, if you let social media ruin your life or ruin your day, I mean, that's on you. And I think that's a problem. I'm not letting somebody way somewhere else that you don't know ruin what you're trying to do. If you look at it, Beyonce's successful. Look how many people hate on her on social media. But look how many millions of fans she really has. Every show she do is sold out, it's packed. So a lot of that stuff don't matter. It's up to you. It's like if you let that control your life, it will. So I mean, sometimes that motivates me. You know, I mean, for real. I remember doing it. I'm telling y'all. So like I took it, social media. I took it as how can I'm gonna make myself better if somebody say something negative about me. You know, I mean, I needed to work out. They was hitting me up all kinds of like, okay, when you get older, you're gonna get bigger.
What were some of the social media comments where I like that you take it, where it's like,
Guess what? I know at the NBA All-Star game, the celebrity game shit, I had got big. I was just chilling. I didn't see myself, so I'm just like, damn. Until they start making them comments, and I said, okay, let me get my ass in the gym. You know what I'm saying? And I just went hard, but I didn't take it as, because some of it could be positive, some of it might help you.
Constructive criticism.
Constructive criticism, it might make you take you, so I'm like, man, it helped me. I got all kind of deals, endorsements. I got myself back together, and I didn't get mad about it. It's how you take it, you know. Because sometimes you know when things are true, what things you need to work on. But you know, just the regular haters, you don't need to entertain them.
Exactly. So let's transition into business. So I really could try to list out every business venture you have, but you've done everything. One, is there any venture that you have not done, or maybe you look back and you're like, damn, I wish I tried business in that?
So one thing I regret when I was the hottest thing in the world is not being in the food business and products, because I feel like that's never gonna go nowhere. People always gonna need water, they always gonna need food. So I got into it down, but back then, so when you hot, it's like a basketball player. I told this once to Meta World Peace when he was here with Kobe, and they was like the hottest team. I'm like, man, get in the product. Product is gonna change your life, because the product gonna outlast you. That's the way these other cultures are passing business down from generation to generation. It's product, finding a product that people gonna need. So I start looking at water, food, stuff like that. Those are things that you're gonna need no matter. Especially, I come from New Orleans. Every time the hurricane comes or something, people are looking for water, food. And so I started changing. I started getting into product. I want to make product that is gonna go into stores and stuff that's gonna be able to be distributed nationally. And so you got to think about what you're gonna name your products, how you're gonna compete, you know, in that marketplace, which is not too many people like us in those market shares. And I think if you come up with the right product, you're gonna be around a long time. I mean, I watched an older lady, she came up with some type of syrup back in the days, and I was like, I couldn't get it. I'm like, syrup. Next thing you know, but she took her product to Walmart, and she ended up, she said, I need $50,000 to go buy my product back. So sometimes you gotta have marketing money to buy your product back. So she went to Walmart and brought all her product back, because it was going by the computer. So like everything you buy, they was taking the computer saying, this is how I'm gonna buy more. So she took that $50,000 that she had and turned it into multi-millions of dollars, because once they brought that $50,000 sold out, they started marketing, they brought millions of dollars of product from her. So, I mean, just that quick, it could change your life, just some syrup. So I started looking at healthy products, regular products, just coming up with things that I know that I could sell in the food category and also the water category.
Well, speaking on food, just on a personal level, you're talking about the different food and product to sell. What's your favorite food, though, to eat?
I mean, I think fish and chicken now. It used to be burgers and everything else, but now, you know.
Is it McDonald's?
No, I'm just being real.
No.
Because think about it, once you know, like, health-wise. So I'm gonna tell y'all what changed it for me. Another thing health-wise changed it for me. You could have money, and I keep saying, money is not wealth. Health is wealth, because without health, you have nothing. I mean, look at the guy who owned Worldstar. He was 375 pounds, and he lost his life. And that's, I mean, he's a guy just like us every day, doing something, had a dream and a goal. And it's like, that's scary, knowing somebody that you just talked to that ain't here no more. And it's because of health reasons. It's not wealth. You could always get money back. You know, and I think that's what people get caught up at is like, if you're a real boss, you're a real hustler. I mean, people lose money all the time. Only us, our culture, laugh at each other when we lose money. I don't laugh at people that know how to hustle. I'm gonna help them and say, man, that man know how to make money. What you need? But our culture just don't do that. You know, we get caught up into the social media to making each other look bad.
Being flashy, but we were just talking about this earlier. Social media and Instagram is just the highlights of your life. Nobody talks about this is where I actually started broke, but you're just seeing this, and they might not even really have that.
Let me tell y'all something. Like, I started in a store, so I started in the retail business. No Limit started. I didn't even have a house. I was in the back of the store. I decided to make a sacrifice. So sometime in your business, you got to sacrifice. I lived in the back of the store with Romeo, and we ran the business, which was No Limit. We sold like t-shirts and CDs and cassettes, and until I got my money up, then I went and brought a little apartment condo. But I'm standing in the back of the store because I couldn't pay the 2 rents and all that other stuff. So I had to decide, do I want a business or do I just want to have a little apartment? And so, you know, when people look at my life, it ain't never been peaches and cream until I made it over the hump. But I tell people all the time, I went from a kid to 18 before I seen a bed. I lived in a project with my grandparents. And she had 12 kids, and all of them was older than us, so I never got a bed. I slept on the floor, but I didn't take it as, man, I'm sleeping on the floor. I was happy to be on the floor. Like, I could be on the streets. So I decided that when I make it, I'll never have to live like this again. You know, so and you just got to make the best out of what you have. And I think some of us get caught up till we want people to feel sorry for us. I never looked for that. You know, I took that and say that pain is gonna turn into happiness if I keep believing. And you gotta have faith. So you also gotta have vision. Some people just don't have vision. They got small vision, but they want big money. You know, you can't get big money with small vision. So your vision have to be big. Like, my vision always been so big that I know it's gonna take a long time to get there. You know, I mean, I started doing music. It just didn't happen overnight. It took 7 years before they even started taking me serious. So I used to go in there, oh man, I ain't feeling that. I used to sit outside the radio people's radio stations with the program directors, and I just wait for them to come out. They'd be like, man, that your music don't work with our format. And I'm like, all right, let me go back and make another record. So you gotta listen to what's going on. It's the same thing with your product. If your brand is not where you want it to be at, start looking at the other things that are working and start saying, how can I make myself better, make my brand better, make an investment in myself? People are not going to make an investment into you unless you make it into yourself. So, and I think, stop being afraid to fall down. I ain't saying fail, because I don't look at life as being a failure. Everything is a lesson to me. Long as I can crawl or walk, I'm gonna get across the finish line. You know, some people laugh at you, oh man, you ain't there, but they don't know those baby steps is gonna take you to the top. You know, and also think of other people and celebrate other people's success. I think a lot of people don't like to celebrate other people's success, so how you gonna ever be successful if you never celebrate anybody else's success? So I've always was a big fan of, oh, you made it, man, I'm happy for you, man. Thanks. You know, and especially if somebody that looked like me, I'm like, man, that man made it. I'm not like, oh man, look at that car that man drive. Why ain't got that? And that's that negative attitude. You never gonna get it if you already mad at. You should be happy. When I seen a black person ride up in a nice car, I'm like, man, what you do? I got into the music business because of Lil J at Rap A Lot. I seen him drive up in a nice car, you know, and I'm like, man, what you do? He said, oh man, I own a record company. Black man own a record company? I was tripping. You know, but I was happy too at the same time. I was happy to see a young person owning a business and being of my culture. So you have to celebrate other people's success if you're going to be successful.
Exactly, and you should celebrate because everyone has their own path, and it's like there's enough for everybody. So there's no
Well, two is networking. Think about it. We all walked in this room today. I'm gonna show you what networking is. We all walked in this room today. Did we even notice the people on the side of it? Think about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I walked in a room before, even the people that I think I know, you still might not know them. You don't know. One day you walk out here, you're gonna see that person somewhere and gonna be like, man, where I know you from? That might be the person, might be working at a bank or whatever. You trying to go get along. Man, I seen you at that convention, and you know, and people remember those type of things. I mean, I was all the way in New Orleans, and I came to California, and one of the guys that I met, he was working at the bank. And I'm like, man, I try to ask my friends, I did whatever. Man, I ain't got it. These guys was in the pros that I grew up with. So think about it. Most of the time, your friends ain't gonna help you.
That's right.
Or family members. They're probably gonna be the ones not gonna help you. So, and that's why I never been prejudiced. Think about it, because it's like the person that helped me at the time when I needed it was a person that wasn't even of my culture. And they just like, man, look, I know you're a good dude. I seen you in New Orleans. I want to help you get this business done. And I'm like, wow. Because I'm going to tell y'all something was crazy, right? So I played on the basketball team with a guy that went to the NBA that was on my team in high school. But I ain't going to say no name. He went to the league. He told me, he said, bro, when I make it, I'm going to give you 10 stacks. And you go on, start your thing. I said, I was going to start this record company. So I got to where this my boy. I'm like, you couldn't tell me nothing about this dude. I go out in the water for him. That was my partner. So he said, meet me at the hotel. That was in New Orleans. He said, meet me at the hotel. I'm gonna give you the 10 stacks to start your record company. I get to the hotel. I say, the players, they still not? Oh, baby, them people left yesterday. I said, yesterday? This is my partner. I know he wouldn't do that to me. Stop answering my phone call. And I'm like, damn, bro, at least you could have called and told me you wasn't gonna do it. So, a couple years later, I turned into Master P. I got one of the biggest companies in the world. He doing bad now. Think about it. They done cut him out the NBA. I know his family or whatever. They needed some bread. I gave it to him. Now, I wanted to show him and say, man, you know what? You could have been a part of this, but you didn't keep it real. But I'm going to show you what really real is really about. You know, and that's what all about it. And we know we have people like that around us. Tell them, man, meet me such and such, I'm going to do that for you. Then they don't. That ain't real. You got to keep your word in business. That's one thing I learned. I learned it on the street. Keep your word no matter what. If you ain't gonna do something, just tell people you're not gonna do it. Most street people cool with it. No, he said no. Okay, cool. It hurts when you say, man, okay, I'm gonna do that for you, but that's when you go to looking for them.
And then you lose opportunities in the future.
Yeah, it is. But you never know who gonna make it. So my dreams and goals surpassed him. He just wanted to be in the NBA. I wanted to own a team myself. So I had to do other things that's gonna make more money. So I think chasing those dreams and goals, you gotta know, and also y'all gotta study your business. I did that back in the days. I've always in the library looking up on music, trying to figure out, and I wanna know something different. Because at that time you had a lot of big stores, but nobody was making any money. So I'm like, what I need to do different? I don't want no record deal. So I went to, sometimes you gotta spend money for what you want to, for knowledge. So I went to Michael Jackson attorney and he told me, he said, man, look, if I'm gonna sit down with you, it's gonna be $25. I said, $25? It was $19.90, $25. I said, okay, sir, I'm gonna be back. You know, give me a little while, I'm gonna come back. I got my money, I got my $25. I think, okay, now I'm about to go sit down and talk to Michael Jackson, attorney. I sit down there with him, I give him my $25. He said, look, man, there's only one other deal you would get is a distribution deal, where you get 80%, the record company get 20%, but you're gonna need $200,000 of marketing money. I said, man, I just gave this fool $25 now telling me that I need $200,000. But all I kept thinking was, I want a distribution deal. So at that time, you know, Jimmy Iovine came to me and he offered me $1 million. He offered me a record deal. He had Puffy and he had Suge at the time. So I got the streets. If I have you, I have the South. I have it all. And I'm like, he gave me a check. So he wrote the check out. He said $1 million. You got to imagine back then. I'm like 20 years old, 21 years old, like $1 million. I live in I had $500 in my pocket, but I'm bluffing. I'm like, I got real money. Man, I got money. I don't need no money. All the while knowing I'm hurt, I need this money. So when I looked at the contract, so that's what I'm saying about business. I looked at the contract, and the contract said, I'm selling all the rights to my name. So I never be able to use my name again. And it's a 7-year deal. I'm not gonna make no more money. And I'm thinking to myself, man, bad as I need this money, I can't do this because I know I was desperate. So I start telling myself, never do a deal when you're desperate.
Thank you.
So you don't do business when you're desperate, even though you need the money. People know that they're gonna get whatever out you because they know you need the bread. So I got $500 in my pocket. Man, look, I don't need no money. I pull out a couple hundred. I'm good. So my brother with me like, man, you need to take this money. We ain't got no money. You going back to the projects. I'm like, man, this man offered me $1 million. He don't even know me. How much you think I'm worth? That's the only reason we didn't fight. We was like, man, look, we going back to Providence. But I knew if I take this money, this was all I was going to ever make in the music business. And it wasn't worth it. Because the short-term goal was to be a millionaire right now. But the long-term goal was to make millions. And I left out, and he told me I never was going to get a deal ever again. And I ended up bumping into Priority Records a couple of years later. And I put out the Ice Cream Man, and they offered me the 80-20 deal. I had the $200,000 marketing money. By that time, I was selling CDs, going everywhere, selling CDs out the trunk of my car. And so I ended up having the marketing money, and I was prepared. And so my first record, I put out the Ice Cream Man, I ended up selling like 500,000 units at $19.99. You know, back then CDs and cassettes was like $19. So I ended up making over $10 million on my first project just putting up. So that changed everything. I was able to open up the doors for other artists, to turn other artists into multi-millionaires. So it ain't just about you when you want to be a boss, it's about making other millionaires too. So that's what it was about for me, opening up opportunities for other people. So every record I put out with No Limit, so my marketing plan was if I break, I'm gonna break everything around me. So when I put out a CD, I had 20 other CDs on it, so my fans knew about it just by buying the CD that I was selling. So most times we'll sell something, you don't sell the whole brand and the whole company, and you have to restart. So I never really wanted to be a star. I always just wanted to say, I want to sell my product. And I want everybody around me to make it. So you can't be selfish. It's not like everybody want to be self-made. There's no such thing as self-made. You need a team. I had a great team, so when people see No Limit, it ain't just me. So I was the brains to it, but I had great people. You got to find experts, especially things that you don't know. So I needed people to go into corporate America and do things that I couldn't do. And sometimes you got to look at that. You know, even when I brought a house, so I started making money, I brought my first house in the country club in Louisiana, which I couldn't do it because of my skin tone and the way I look. So I had to hire one of my guys that was with me that wasn't the same color. Man, go out and buy this house. And when he went and brought the house, I'm the first African American in the country club. You look it up. I brought the governor house, and it was the biggest house in the country club, the state of Louisiana. And when they knew that I was buying that house, they say, "Oh, we can't sell in that house." The guy who was over the bank said, "We're not gonna let one of them in here." And I'm like, "One of who?" So think about it. It's not like, it's sad. This is crazy. But even now I have money. I can't even spend my own money. I can't live where I want to live at, so I got to outthink them. So it was a God-gated community. It's one of the best communities in Louisiana. And so I sent my guy in there. I brought a house, Snoop, and we brought like six or seven houses at one time, where they never had a black person living there. And the guy said, we're gonna stop the loan. The man said, stop the loan. He already paid for it. Like, it's and then they said, okay, well, he ain't gonna be able to play golf. And I don't play golf anyway. Like, if that's what y'all gonna chastise me, well, I ain't gonna be able to play golf, it's cool. You know, but we gotta outthink, even when people are being negative or prejudiced against us. Education, even though we from the streets and we look a certain way, we still have to educate ourselves. And we have to educate ourselves to our business. So to me, I feel like those are the main things that you need to know. You need to know your business. Because if you don't know your business, you need to know everything. Like from the janitors to the people that's sending out the mail, you need to know where everything is going in. And so that's how I got so good at what I was doing. I was wearing 10 different hats in my store. So I knew everything what to do. So when I started getting big, I just started hiring people to do what I do.
I had a question about when you brought up teams. So one thing I see, especially in this industry, is we tend to want to bring our friends or our family in, whether it's as a manager position, a publicist. So let's talk about mixing business and personal.
Well, let me tell you something. To this day, I know my grandmother probably mad because I had to fire her son. She was like, what you mean you gonna fire my son? I'm saying, look, big mama, look, this dude gotta go. He bad for the business. I'd rather pay him and give him some money not to come to work. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know when somebody killing you or a relative or a friend that this don't work.
How many chances do you give until it's like, all right, I just gotta fire you?
Well, the thing about it is, I seen when it wasn't good for my business. And I watched some of the things he do because he figured, oh, I'm kindling you, I'm gonna get away with it. And I'm like, man, this is our brand. Like, cause I treat people good, I treat people with respect, and no matter how much money you have, I was poor. So I'm happy to see somebody else trying to get up. So I feel like, at least you gotta be respectful with people. Not just because you got bread, now you think you on top of the world or you disrespect people. I'm not into that. Like, I want people to, I'm looking at people like, man, that person might be the next me or might surpass me or whatever. So at least you never know who you're giving a chance or opportunity to, even just to communicate with. So I don't like people when people just negative. Oh, I gotta go, I gotta do this, and you talk to people crazy. I'm not in it. I told my grandmother I couldn't use it. And she ain't like it. She ain't like it, but you know what? I love her. I did a lot for her. And I love my uncle, but at the same time, I'm like, man, you don't work for this business. You know, and sometimes that's that tough love when you know this is your business. Even think about it. Even some of the things I tell people all the time, even from my brothers to my sister to whatever, you know, I tell people all the time, all your friends ain't my friend. Like even some of my brothers, some of his friends, I just don't get on with them because I already know it don't work. So and I tell them, I say, cool, you could go do that with them, but I'm not doing that with them. So we got to be accountable for our business. Same thing, you got to know, okay, if this is my business and I'm the boss, and you gonna pause in my business, then I might as well just stop right now. Because you don't care about yourself, so I know you don't care about me. And you don't care about that we need to make money to survive. So if you shut off those resources, how we gonna survive? So I think being a boss, you have to know that. Like, so for me, when I go into corporate America, you know, it's like you can't go into corporate America the same way that you sitting in the hood or talking crazy or whatever. You have to kind of like be two people. To be honest, when you go and trying to close a deal, you have to be something else. You have to know that these people have a strategy. They don't care about where you come from. So I tell people all the time, it ain't about me. I'm thinking about how I'm gonna get my product into them stores. So I gotta go to that buyer and find out what's their strategy for the next cycle that they buying clothes for. If I don't know that, I'm just selling them something that I think I know and it's not gonna work. Because you walking in there not knowing what the strategy is of that other company. And if you send somebody in there that don't care, all you're doing is losing business. Because they going by how big you is, or how much money you have. Them people don't care about that. Or who your nephew is. My nephew, Master P, we could do, man, what is you talking about? Is you crazy? I'm trying to do some business with these people. We don't need their money, we got them. Hold up.
Fired.
We don't need that money, like what we here for? You might have money right now, 10 years from now you won't have money. Then I know how much money I gave you, so I know you ain't got that much money. So I always look at that. Never try to be bigger than the people that you get your check from. Because that's your boss. I don't care how you look at it, wherever your check is getting cut from, that's your boss. So you need to follow that chain of command and go create your own business. And that's what I told him. I said, damn, bro, you don't like the way I'm doing what I do, then guess what? Go get your own business. That's it. That's what men do. There's no, that's what I did. I ain't like working for somebody. I'm going to start my own company. I can do whatever I want to do. If you could do better than me, go do your own thing. But if you feel like you can work under this team and you add some value and you're an expert, then come on, let's do it. But you can't have an ego when you got a role to play. And I always learned from a team. I've always been playing basketball, sports, football. So when I create a business, I create on the team. Nothing is self-made. You know, you need CEOs, you need, just like on the basketball team, you need point guards, you need centers, forwards, you need all this. You need people, sales people, everything. It's not just you. So No Limit Records didn't sell 100 million records by themselves. It's a team to get that to the factory. It's a team to get that into the system. So I think we got to start thinking that type of way if we're going to be successful. And not worrying about what other people worried about. Do you believe? Think about it. If you really believe in something, you're eventually going to make it. If you believe. If people talk all the time, man, I don't like your music. Okay, well, cool. I think it's dope. I'm about to pop. They was like, buy it. What the hell is that? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. That ain't for you. I'm going to find my fans, my audience, and that's what I'm going to sell it to. I ain't trying to be the best rapper in the world. I tell people all the time. Okay, you want to know that from my city, New Orleans, but the best rapper in the world is Lil Wayne. Cool. I'm the best hustler in the game when it comes to this. That's it.
I mean, I'm sure people always want to work with you, or maybe it's artists pitching stuff, or even business. What do you look for in people? Like, I feel like this generation of artists is so different from what it was before. And it's just kind of like, what's one thing you can't stand right now that you're seeing in artists and how they're handling their brand and why?
The one thing I can't stand is loyalty.
That's right.
That's it. I can't stand that how everybody just jump around. I can't stand that. Like we either gonna win together or lose together. That's right. That's it. I can't get into it. I feel like it's sad. That's the saddest thing to me. Because I know one thing, if you came in with some people and you never had no money, and whatever them people did, they helped us. That's why these companies signing our artists to 360 deals now. Yeah. So you can't go nowhere. Even when you leave, they can make money off of you. Because you ain't even reading the paperwork no more. And I tell people all the time, if y'all know I'm an expert at making money, and I ain't talking about the best rapper. You ever get that to whoever, Jay-Z, whoever you want to give it to. I don't care. I'm talking about making money in this and being from the ghetto, from the bottom, and doing it, running a company on my own, in dealing with the challenges or whatever, why you don't come get me if you get a big deal? Because you're going to go give that money to like a shoe person, a shoe salesman, somebody don't know nothing about the business. I'm like, come get me. I could probably get you more money for the deal. But I got to get something out of it. I mean, if you want me to work for free, they'll call me and, yeah, big dog, come do this. But you're going to get this other dude who you don't even know 10%, 15%, 20%, and be happy with it. And I'm just saying, nobody has came, a couple people came and kept it real that I'm able to help them and see it. But that's what big organizations do. They go find the experts that came before them. We don't do that in entertainment. They do it in football and basketball, in professional sports, but in entertainment world, we don't do it because we want to outdo. If you still alive, so anybody can say, oh, I'm going to go get Tupac to do. You only saying it because he's not here. If Tupac was here right now, you'd be trying to outdo him. They trying to outdo you. You got to outdo me. I'm your coach now. I can help you. I'm going to show you where to go get the bread from, where you can't even imagine to go get it from. You know, because in this business, it's always somebody that came before you. And if they're willing to open up the secrets to you, why not go do it? So I paid, in the 90s, I paid $25 to go talk to a man. So if you got somebody that can show you how to close a deal and get more money, why not go use them? I can't do it for free.
What's the cost?
Shorty, you won't know what that cost is, you heard me? Nah, but no, let me tell y'all something, it depends. So I don't have a price on it. It's like, say for instance, all right, I'm gonna show y'all something in basketball. So this is what they do, our athletes in basketball. They'll say, I don't want no money from you right now. You're gonna find a financial advisor. Every contract I show you, you're gonna see as a financial advisor attached to it. That guy gonna say for 5 years, I don't want no money from you. And you're gonna be, if your homeboy said, well, watch the money you're gonna get. So if one of these top athletes sign a $200 million deal, he don't want no money from you, but he want 5% when you sign that big deal. So that's $10 million. You ain't gonna give your homeboy $10 million in 5 years. You probably ain't gonna give him $100,000 or $200,000. Somebody that's probably been with you, walking you to the gym, doing all this stuff, but you just gave somebody you don't know $10 million because you're not thinking about it. You ain't looking at how he did it. He said, I want 5% when you get your major deal done. So you're not gonna get no deal till like the 4th year, the 5th year. But he already got 10 other dudes like that, so he's not, so he making $10 million every 5 years doing nothing. And you fell for it. Think about it. If I told you, man, give me $10 million out your big deal, you're gonna be, man, you crazy. And I could have been with you the whole time and helping you get there. But that's the game, how they do it. So what do that man deserve $10 million if he wasn't there with you from the beginning? It's embarrassing, and these athletes are not going to say it because they don't want you to know that. Go look at Tim Duncan. They took $25 million from Tim Duncan. He's one of the smarter athletes. And they stole $25 million from him because we're not doing our research and our study and our education on our business. Because you know what? During those seasons, all Tim Duncan was saying was, I'm a basketball player. I ain't got no time for this. So you agreeing to everything they say. We need to be on hands on our business. I'm on hands on everything. Everything go out right there, man, look here, this is what it is. I'm signing the checks. You don't need to, well, I'm gonna pay you $10 million to write some checks for me? What you went to school for? Oh, I forgot you didn't go to school, you just played basketball. That's why you can't beat me. And you definitely ain't gonna beat them. Same thing like with an artist. Once you walk in there, you're like, oh man, you know, I'm an artist, I ain't got no time. Okay, well, why you mad the man just stole your money? You just wanted to be an artist. You paying somebody $10 million to wake you up in the morning? Oh man, I'm high, I'm on that lean, I'm sleeping, I'm doing. Okay, well shit, that's gonna cost you. I gotta do all that to get you up and get you to a show. that means you ain't tripping on your own business. You don't care. I ain't never had nobody do that for me. I wake up like a alarm clock to get that money. I'm telling you straight up, I'm getting up. It's about some money, some bread, I'm getting up. You want to wake me up? I come from the project. How much money you talk, man? I'm there early. Think about it. So you got to look at that. We want to get caught up into this Hollywood stuff. We want to be pampered. We don't want no bread. Man, I need a big trail. I don't need nothing. Boy, give me my money. You know, think about it. We got to start thinking like that. You go on tour, all these other artists want all this other stuff. Oh, P, I'm going to get the girls, I want the jacuzzi. I don't want none of that, but I want my money. You're not about to steal my bread from me. I want my man, bring me my money. Oh, we got to get this kind, man, I don't need none of that, man. I could buy my own car. I want my money. So we got to start thinking like that, programming our mind like that. Let's be independent to get out there and take care of our business. And we got to be on hand. Most of us don't want to do the work. We want the big bread, but we don't want to do the work. So you're not going to make real money if you're not going to do the work. So if you look at some of these other cultures and their business, they working those businesses. We the only one want to be the big boss, like, oh man, I ain't got to be there. Okay, well, they going to steal from you.
That's right.
If you're not there, they going to steal from you. I don't care what kind of business you have. A business means if you're going to be the boss, you need to be there. So if you're not there, somebody else running the show, they stealing from you. So think about it. I played basketball. Dudes tell me, man, basketball, I ain't got time to do nothing else. Man, I ran my business. I played in the NBA. Practice ain't nothing but an hour or two. But if you want to fake like you want to be a superstar and everybody cater to you, yeah, you ain't got no time. I did them 2 hours. I'm back, man. I'm doing all the other stuff. Because what's going to happen if you get hurt? You got nothing to fall back on. So I just think we got to start investing in us and stop wasting time, because a lot of people waste time and then they mad at the outcome. Or somebody else making you mad because you don't have nothing that other person has, something now you hate it. When you got the same 24 hours like everybody else. But if you're in a club partying, you're on your phone all day, you're doing all this, guess what? Yeah, you ain't successful. You know what you need to work on. I'm gonna tell y'all something. What I started doing, I started telling myself when to shut up. Man, shut up. Because I'll be telling myself, man, I can't do it. Like, I'm already telling myself I can't do it. Me, I'm telling me I can't do it. Like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Shut up. You can do it. I start telling myself I can do it. And y'all know we do that a lot. We don't believe that we could do things because it looked too big. Like somebody else has done it, like they done somebody ran over that mountain and crossed it. We could do it. Is it bad how bad you want to get over it? You might have to crawl or somebody roll you or whatever. As long as you get over it, you there. I tell you all the time, I run for the finish line. I don't run for the race. I run and get across the finish line. That's it. I got to get across that finish line. I don't care how I get there, but I'm going to get across it. And that's been the spirit I kept to make it, to be successful. And I tell people, I just like, for me, I love the hood where I grew up in. I say, I ain't going back. I'm going back to visit, to take care of the kids, to do my part, but I'm not going back to live. Most people that made it where I come from, they end up back there because they run out of money. They stop doing what they do. They get comfortable. I'm like, I ain't going back. That's why I work hard. Every day I'm like, man, I keep thinking, man, all the football, basketball players I know that made it and back in the project where they left. And you know what? People laughing at them. But I don't mind. I come from New Orleans, a hurricane that washed it away. I don't mind starting over. But you got to hold your head up proud even to start over. You can't hold your head down because you're going through a little bump in the road. I'm like, man, damn. Can't believe I'm back at this position. Okay, let me do what I do. Let me do what got me here. Instead of crying about, no, who's gonna help you? Nobody gonna help you. All the people I gave money to, if I ever needed something, I couldn't get a dime from them. You know what they'll ask me? I'll be like, damn, bro, I gave you how much? I say, damn, bro, I need a couple dollars to do. Man, big dog, what you need that for? I ain't asked you that. She won't know what I need, it don't matter. When you came to me, I figured out what you needed, and if I could help you, I did. If I can't, just say no. And that's how we gotta be when if we gonna be successful. Just keep it 100. That's it.
Okay, I have one question before we go into the Q&A. You said people waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
So what's your daily, with everything going on from waking up to going to bed, because I can just imagine it's filled every hour and every minute.
Well, you know, I think just get 8 hours of sleep. You know, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. Get that, and then everything else just run. That's what I do. I get up 6 o'clock in the morning, I just run. Let it go. I can't sleep. I mean, it's like, man, so I get them 8 hours, I'm gone. Because I'm thinking of stuff. Like some people only want to be successful in one thing. I'm not that type of person. Because I figure when one thing is down, I need something else to. That's my backup plan. So I'm a type of guy, let me tell you what I do. I take risks. So instead of having $1, that's what I do. You know, because I believe in God. If I got $1, I'm going to take 10 cents, you know, give it back. And then I'm going to take another 10 cents for marketing. So I only have, you know, 80 cents right there. Then I'm going to take another 20 cents to invest into something. So that's every dollar I have, I'm only taking 60 cents out of it. You know, just right off the top of what I make. And that's the way I think. So I can get a chance to throw at something and not feel it. So because think about it, when everything up, once that thing hit, it's just like me doing music. People are like, well, why P ain't angry? Or he ain't making money off of music. I got 30 other things going. Shit, music ain't making money. Most of these dudes fake it in the music business. You know, think about it. They ain't making no money, they making it look good for y'all, but shit, you got a car and a chain and you ain't making no money. We couldn't count our money. You ain't never seen me. The money we made, we couldn't count it. I couldn't even show it to y'all on Instagram because we can't count it. I feel like if you got it, you got to count it on Instagram. I mean, you ain't got no real. You gonna put some black cards up and go, I can't do it. I can't count my money. I'm gonna show you what I got.
You don't have time to do
You
that.
know, I could show you chips. I sell chips. I sell potato chips. You know, I got chips. I got rap snacks.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, but we started that 10 years ago. Nobody didn't think that it would be successful like it is now. But nobody didn't believe that, you know, that we could do that. So just a lot of things you got to think of the future. Think about how you're going to be able to keep living the lifestyle that you have.
How do you keep track of all your ideas and your thoughts? Because I feel it's always like, do you write everything down? Do you know, like everyone has their own process. I write everything down on my phone. You went through my notes, everything.
You know, with me, it's like old school. You just gotta, you know, like for me, I gotta be able to see it. Like, okay, I got this. So I kind of like make it like a business plan. So you know how some people, so I was taught old school, like instead of going buy something, go create a business, then go buy it. So I knew some guys, even when they send their kids to school, they're like, okay, it's gonna cost this amount to send my kids to school. Let me go start a business and then I'm gonna pay for it like that. I'm about to buy this car, let me see what I can get to make an investment in something, then I'm gonna buy the car. So I started creating business like that. Like when I need something, instead of just go spend the money I have, I'm gonna say, okay, let me take this and I'm gonna turn this into that. So it's almost like I ain't spending no money for it. So, I mean, that's just my process. Coming from the streets, I was able to take that with me. But then also educate myself to knowing that whatever I get into, it gotta be something that I love. And something that works with everything else that I'm doing. So you know how some people just get into anything. I'm trying to get into things that I'm familiar with. Because you're not gonna know. You're gonna get robbed if you don't know it. Somebody come, oh, I got this Earl, I want you to invest. Like, I don't know nothing about that. I'm not about to do it, or some stocks that, it could be some penny stocks. You don't even know, but it sound good because they got a suit on. It sound good, they coming. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Because soon as it crashed, I done took a little bit of money and tried that before and I never won at it. So you gotta look at it. So, you know, I was able to take a little bit to test it out. And I'm saying, nah, I don't know this. This ain't gonna work for me. You know when something don't work for you, because you're not gonna even put your time into it. If it's something you love, you're gonna put your time into it.
Well, I want to open up the questions. Okay, so we'll take a couple, and let's start with you. We will end on that note. So thank you so much for just taking the time to talk to everybody that came to this room, and thank you for everyone for coming out.
Thank you.